You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
You said that with some determination. Right, Darren Pritchard, you are no stranger to Gaydio, actually. You've been on... I think it's been a long time since I've spoken to you on the radio, isn't it? I think it was... I actually think it was when I'd first started doing Gaydio Breakfast, so we're talking 2021.
It was.
Yeah.
We're retro, baby. We're pastiche.
She's pastiche. She's been busy. I know that much.
Yeah.
So in Manchester, there's a brand new venue. It's been open for a hot minute now. Factory International. So many amazing things going on there. It was only a matter of time before you were going to be putting on something amazing there, right?
Yeah, well, it was only a matter of time. Thank you to John McGrath, the artistic director of Manchester International Festival. But this show's been in development for about 3 years because of the scale of the show. It's took that amount of time to kind of like get what this show is and what it's about and get the creative team together, get the cast together, because it is what I am producing and Rikki is producing, Rikki Beadle-Blair. Big shout out to my co-creator, legend, icon. Lots more adjectives that I could use to describe the paragon that he is. So yeah, it took us a couple of years to kind of get this show like really off the ground, and it took the time and the care because it is, I think, and Rikki thinks, it's probably the biggest cutie BIPOC show that's ever been in the UK, because there's a lot of shows that are pop-ups, but we're 3 nights at Aviva Studios. So it's probably the biggest show in the UK and probably Europe that has ever been produced, which is focused on queer black joy. Yeah.
It's going to be running in June at Aviva Studios, like you said. What is going to be on this show? Because the artwork I'm just looking at now to describe it. It's giving a lot. I mean, I've seen there's a lot of there's peacock feathers in there, there's camporee, there's lots of smiling, there's fierceness. What is going on?
It is a overload of black queer Mancunian joy. So the show is a massive, so we're billing it as the ultimate runway competition in fashion, dance, song and performance.
Wow.
And we've got the best of Manchester's underground and overground. So cabaret artists, we've got singers, we've got burlesque, we've got boylesque, we've got club kids, we've got drag in there. So what we're doing is we're putting the queer, because I always say the queer black community is under the underground. It's like there's like queerness, and then there's a queer black community that they're like, oh my god, there's a separate like acronym, because we love an acronym.
It gets cooler and cooler the deeper you go.
Yeah. We love an alphabet soup. So yeah, the Cutie by Manchester, and this was just really a chance for me to showcase the beauty and the talent and the skill level that we have within these performers, because a lot of them gig at the highest possible level, but we've always also matched that with performers that haven't. So we've got people that are walking off the set from the new film in Wicked next to people that have just done their club gigs in Manchester every week, and when they're put on that catwalk you can never tell who's professional and who's not, because that hybrid of creativity has no bounds of like a talent level. If you're a creative genius, you're a creative genius, and sometimes it's just about exposure, and that's what I wanted to do on the show. I wanted a distinctly UK, a distinctly Mancunian and a distinctly queer show that platformed the best, and we've kind of used that competition format. So we pulled upon popular culture, so RuPaul's Drag Race, we pulled on The Voice, we pulled on Project Runway, we pulled on like Legendary. So all these shows in popular culture we kind of put, and we're doing it in our way and putting our own unique signature and twist on it. And this builds upon a legacy of the Black Pride events that I've done, which are big catwalk competitions. I've got a family show which is called Family Catwalk Extravaganza, which is toured for like 4 years and just keeps getting booked to book. So this is like the manifestation of all the work I've done within the community artistically, because our dancers are in every, you see, go in Manchester and it's just like there's one at Ghetto Fabulous.
It's Ghetto Fabulous is everywhere. They're hot, so hot right now. Have been for a while. You're talking venues like Firehouse and Diecast and just about every other flipping venue.
We've done Glitterbox, we've done Defected, we've done Homo Block, we've opened for Janelle Monáe, we've done every kind of club, we've worked for fashion brands, makeup brands, we've done it kind of all, and we hit that zeitgeist of like, we've got a now queer black Dr. Hugh and Yasmin's on Heartstopper, so we hit that kind of peak. But the one thing about Ghetto Fabulous is that we've had longevity, so we're not kind of like a flash, like we've been around for years and years and years, and it's only now that we're kind of like getting our flowers and our like we get this show, and we're getting we get to curate the main stage at Pride this year, and we get to do a big, we get main stage at Homo Block now. So all these big platforms are now kind of recognising what we've kind of done. And it has actually been the Manchester Underground that has supported us the most, and it was a queer alt scene. I remember it was like Gary at Drunk at Vogue back in the day, and it was like, I was just dancing and he was like, oh my God, you must come here. Then a lot of it's manifested, and that's what the show is. It is it's a pageant of pure, unadulterated hedonism with lots of cocoa butter and hair weave.
I can smell it. I can smell it.
You can smell it. It's visceral. It's an immersive experience where it'll go up your nose and up your every crevices. We're getting in there.
Up your nose on a Saturday night, really?
Thursday to Saturday, we're a 3-day bender, honey. We're going 90s, girl. Yeah, it's not like we're doing one night. I'm going old school. It's like we go out on Friday, come back Monday morning.
Yeah.
Into work. Like, hi, everyone.
It sounds like a brilliant event. House of Manchester.
Yeah.
So he's basically taking like a lot of like sort of taking a bit from the work that you've done in this area, in this club, in this night, and all those different events that you mentioned, and putting it all into one huge celebration. Then, right?
Yeah. And we've got something for everyone. So when we was discussing about the concepts and getting all artistic, I was like, well, what's a family and a home without children? So we're doing a children's show on a Saturday twice, which leads in, and then we're having after parties every night. So I'm curating a DJ set. They'll hopefully be on the first night. There'll be some queers hosting. I'll find a queer collective that will host the opening night and stuff. So we just want and it is a show that we always say it is Manchester to the world, not the world to Manchester, because it's like everyone comes into Manchester. This is us to you. Yeah. Unfiltered, unadulterated. We're like the purest.
You definitely cannot say this on the radio. It's not going in, Darren. Yeah, House of Manchester. Yeah. Very excited for the show. We can get tickets at factoryinternational.org. Because it's Factory International, this isn't like we've touched on just for Manchester. You want everybody to look at Manchester and come to Manchester, so hopefully people who are thinking about visiting Manchester that particular weekend might want to come and see this. What is in store for this? Is this sort of like something that you'd like to do annually, do it more, take it around to different cities?
Yeah. Well, we called it House of MCR because then the brand can go to House of like LDN, or it can go to House of Milan, or House of London, or House of Paris, House of Rome. I think the Manchester International team are pitching it internationally, so we will get international interest, we will get national interest, and a show of this scale, it's a seminal historic moment, and it's happening in Manchester. The biggest queer black show ever to be produced and put on is here in Manchester, and I think it's rightly so, because we've got a beautiful community here. I think we're very forward thinking in our kind of like allyship and our queerness and how communities come together, and also in Manchester how we take space, and not just queer underground spaces, because the events I do, I'm bougie, honey. I am bougie as hell. I'm like, I ain't getting changed in no disabled toilet. Take me, if I'm in a hotel, take me up
some Prosecco on arrival.
Yeah, it's like man and Mariah Carey's. I'll give her a run for her rider. It's like my fee's this and my rider fee is double.
Yeah, you
so
do,
yes,
right.
so yeah. What we're doing with this is we're a promo for Manchester and queer black excellence, and the show has got an amazing, like we've just recruited an amazing like lighting designer, and we've got fashion coaches and vocal coaches, so as well as the performers, so they're not just rocking up and doing their gig, like every performer's being looked at, like the singers will get a session with a vocal coach, the dancers with the dancers, they're getting costumes, they're getting makeup, they're going hair, and as an individual performer you don't generally get that working on the club circuit. Is you rock up with your art, so we've got a lot of pastoral care and support to take it and elevate it to the next level for that international audience, because it's queer excellence, and everybody knows how stush I am. And that is like, it's like when I'm doing my Black Pride, it's like I'm doing it on New Century Hall on it. It's like yeah, it's like that's where I'm doing it. And if I'm doing these events, and I believe we should be taking over those, we should be and it's in the big space, so it's in the Aviva studio, it's in the big studio space. We've got a massive catwalk. We've got the best production team on it, and it has been a gift, and it's been a gift working with Rikki, and it's been a gift working with the community as well.
Yeah,
and we're gonna slay. I know we say that a lot, but it's like it's in block capitals.
She's going to slay hard.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who's like, you know, because you've done a lot, you continue to do a lot, and you know, building big shows like this, and even now it's like you're just barely getting started. You know, you've got so much ahead of you, and your whole crew and all the houses and the family of kids that you have with you. What would you say to somebody who's, you know, maybe looking to start, you know, a little collective, you know, but maybe feels like they can't reach for, you know, those you know, those big venues, or the things that they want to do, and they feel like, oh, I need to hold myself back or something like that?
I always say nothing is not for you. So in life, and especially if you've come, and I always say use every adversity that you've got to your advantage and to your skill set. I'm a black queer Mancunian, like I was brought up in Hume, and it was like how much creativity comes from what we would call working class here, from the ghetto. It's like rap music, house music, the music it's like they're your foundation. So if you feel like you can't do anything, it's only you who's putting that block in your way and your mentality, because it's like the world is there for grabbing, and grab it and take it, because we're in a very fragile world at the moment, and you've got to take what you can get and enjoy what you can go. And I'm just like, I've always been fearless, and I think that's come from my mum, because I was like brought up by a single mum. So it's like I've had that fearless, like white working class energy where I fought for everything. And if you say no, it's going to turn into a yes, I can do. It's like I've got that fighting spirit in me. I think every queer person has every time they walk down the street, and especially now with these young kids being more unapologetic in the way they dress and their gender, you just have to go for it, because it is for you. Everything is for you, and anything that you can see. And I always say with especially when I'm mentoring the queer, it's like it's been done before. Look at I always say revert back to history. It's like James Baldwin has talked about this stuff. It was like the first person to throw a stone at stuff. There's people that have done these battles, so you can actually step on their shoulders. So don't disrespect them. Use their shoulders. It's like I say with Ghetto Fabulous. We're a trampoline. I don't want you to stay. I wish my dancers would go. I'm like, I wish. I'm like, I want you to
fly the nest, fly, please, my pretties.
I know. I'm like, fly, my pretties, and they just kind of like do this like return flight back. And I always say, Ghetto Fabulous is for you to stand on my shoulders. I don't want you to stay there. I don't want you to stay in these venues.
Maybe it's just because you've made such a lovely home for all your kids, Darren.
They're damn spoiled. They can be damn rude. They can be well, you know, so they can be damn rude, right. But they're damn. But no, I'm I am extremely blessed with the performers that I've got, that they're exceptionally high in talent, and a lot of them I have beaten into professionalism as well, and etiquette and stuff. But that's what community does. It's I'm there to tell them, like, no, you can't come late, honey. It's not going to wash with me. You may be cute and black, but there's another cute black person that's going to come on time and do it. And this is the world that we live in. So if you're
going to make something you work, because there's always got to be an element of professionalism to it, you know, especially if you're going to take it to the next level.
We have, like, Ghetto Fabulous has been around for like 10 years. We have not got where we have got by being unprofessional. I think that's when people work with us. That's why we can work with major brands and major corporations and major institutions in Manchester, major clubs, is because we're so professional. And I'm also very level-headed. I can balance stuff, because the world that we're in of this clubland is so erratic. That I've kind of like just been able to, because I've been in it so long, kind of like I know the game, so I know it's like I know to hustle, honey. I know to play the game.
You're going to be a good hustler in the club scene, eh? I mean, so talking of club scenes, actually, I've been reading recently DJ Paul Lettsbook, another Manchester icon, someone who we both know.
Yeah.
She said in her book about how Manchester was being so important to her and how she managed to come back from a sort of like period in the wilderness, and she said something similar to what you did about community. How strong do you think that is compared to like other major cities? Because you would sort of imagine like, oh well, everybody's going to say that. Why is Manchester any different?
No, I will hand on heart say that, and I'm talking about the Cutie BIPOC. And when I say that, just for people that don't know, it's queer, trans, intersex, bi, people of colour. Is one thing that I've done with my events, and it's grown, is that we've got such amazing institutions here and people. We've got groups like Rainbow Noir, which is a safe space for kind of like queer people of colour. We had Black Beadle Health, which took care of their health and sexual health, and that was run by Harvey. We have Kids of Colour, we have the Youth Network, so we've got a lot of queer youth. So we've got a really good infrastructure. And also what I find in Manchester is, as well as, and I embrace the whole of the kind of people of colour spectrum. Some people call it global majority, I call it people of colour. It's like, so my Asian sisters, my Southeast Asian sisters, so on stage we have got that real eclectic mix. So we've got artists like Saki Yu, we've got Lucky Roy Singh next to people like Harry and Bola and Fortune, one of my dancers. So we show the widest range of what because we're stronger together. It's like I'm a big believer in allyship, and especially in the communities that I work in, of bringing them together. Because one of the first Black Pride shows I did, there's some stuff that spun out of it that I didn't even know. Somebody came up to me and was like, oh, I started a night because I seen a whole load of queer Asians on stage. And that came up. We was in a conversation and they said I created my whole night and I created my whole drag persona off seeing that, because I seen other people. And it's like so the journey happened. Like, we created the House of Spice Up, one of the Black Prides, and now they were hosting the Queer Asian Takeover last year, and then it's happening this year. So then with Club Zindig, have expanded the whole kind of like South Asian and Middle Eastern and Southeast Asian. So that's one thing that Manchester, obviously in the community there's people that don't like each other, but I am quite militant. I got no time for them.
Isn't drama? You're joking. Not in Manchester. I won't have it.
Netflix specials are high. Yeah, that's what people are like. You need to be on a Netflix special. How much Ghetto Fabulous go for? But yeah, I think that's what Manchester has got unique, and we do support one another. Like, we do turn up for one another. I can't get a cast of 48 or near 50 queer Black people in Manchester if we did not support one another. No paycheck is that big, because us queers have got egos. We'll be like, oh, I don't care how much it's getting paid, I don't like this one. So to get that collective of people together, all supporting one another, like the singers in the group were like doing more than they need to do. They were like, if anyone needs any backing vocals when they're singing, we'll do some BVs. If you need this, some of the dancers are like, well, if the drag queens want dancers, we'll come do our category. And then so this is how we kind of like help and support. And community is paramount, because and the community that I work in, they've not got a lot of the time they've not got their family, so their queer chosen family and their community. And one thing that when you come out as a queer person of colour that a lot of people lose is their culture. So to identify with somebody who looks like you and sounds like you, and I think Jahida said that it was just nice meeting another queer Asian people and we could eat with our hands together, and there was no shortcut. It's like when I see it when like the Nigerians come together and they start talking about tribes and Yoruba and dialects. That's something that when you come out as a queer person and get disowned as by your family, which happens a lot in the sectors that I work on, you lose that culture and your foundation, and it's your heart and your soul. And then you have your community and your queer chosen family, and then they elevate you again. And that's why a show like this is happening in Manchester. It's only happening because of the community. I couldn't do the show on my own. I needed those 50 artists, and they're very responsive. I think it's because it's me, because I know I'm kind of like, like they say, no too blit pressure.
But the Pritchard's calling, I can't say no.
Yeah. When they say like no too blue tick pressure, I'm like, girl, if I've seen you've read that, and your 2 days, I'm voice noting you, and then if you see Darren pop up, yeah, and we have got that culture of
I get that. I wouldn't dare leave you on red or something. When you voice note me, I'm like, I'm gonna get back to her.
Yeah, no, I am, and I think that's what I think it is. It is respected because I am like I self-title myself the Manchester male matriarch, and I just hope people don't come for me for like matriarchal appropriation. Like, Jesus,
it's a gay she. There's history behind it, darling.
It's a gay she because and a lot of people do call me. I think it's default from like the Vogue scene, and it's a default from like they do like I've had other like, oh, going mother, and I'm like, girl, I don't know you. So you should call me that. It's like you call me Darren and so we do have that sense. We do have that sense of community, and in Manchester, I think it is totally. I think the queer community is very unique here, and I think the black queer community. I think yeah. And when we look at like people like Yasmin that have come out of that, and then there's like Adam Ali, and then there's another guy who's a big actor. He comes from Manchester. We can reach those heights because we've got a very firm base of community that we can come from, that support one another, and we'll listen. Like we've got the biggest yes queen community ever. Like yes, and obviously we've got the no queens, but I've got no time for them. But yeah, community is vastly important, and especially with the intersectionalities that we work with, because you can be having nobody and then they become your family, but they also become your cultural reference.
And that community has created this amazing event that we all can't wait to get to in June at Factory International. House of MCR. House of MCR or House of Manchester?
It's House of MCR.
House of MCR.
But it's the acronym for Manchester and stuff. And we did that because we just like House of Manchester a bit long. And then when we was looking at like the little acronyms of like each city, if we was ever to tour, we was just like House of, and then you can just put those three letters.
Camp.
Yeah, because that's where we're thinking again. I'm thinking Manchester to the world and just spreading pure. The show is pure joy.
If you could pick any city in the world where you'd want to take it next, where would you go?
Oh, any city that I'd like to take it to. We talked about. The next city I would like to take it to is London, just because that's Rikki's hometown.
Oh, very nice. Keep it in the family.
So keep it in the family. And Rikki was referencing a lot of artists, like Lee John and all these other artists that came before, and then he was educating me about all these black queer artists kind of like down south and up north, and it was like, that's who we need in our next show, and we need them as a representation of London. So I'd like to take it there and somewhere hot.
Somewhere hot, yeah. Maybe hot. Rio or something.
Rio, Brazil, like South America's That
would be amazing.
It would be amazing.
And you're going to be at Manchester Pride this summer, yeah?
We are at Manchester Pride this summer. I have been given the task of curating the main stage this year. They're putting black queerness right at the heart of it this year.
Quite right.
So yeah, I've had a very easy ride with Pride this year in terms of you laugh. Everyone's like, really?
We could all go for an easy ride here and there, darling.
So no. Mark, I do have to commend Mark and the rest of the team. They have totally trusted me. Probably because I battle a lot with what I have to do in kind of like the queer blackness and get people to trust us. And when I go into venues, I'm like, yeah, you've got our dancers. Can we have our DJs as well and stuff like? So we're constantly battling that. Where we Pride, it was just a very easy conversation of like, here's who we've got as the headliner. Here's the acts that we've booked in. Can you curate something? And we talked about the acts that were coming in, and does it fit the kind of like the Black Pride brand and what we're about? So yeah, and this year there's a lot of flesh. I was just like, if we're going black and semi-naked. It's like we're giving them flesh. It's like because I work a lot because we've got a pre-Pride party before that, which is a kink cabaret. So I work a lot with the K-pop community, which is the kinky people of color, which is the fetish community. And there was that whole political thing about, oh no, fetish up Pride and blah blah blah. So this is how I do my politics. I'm like, I'm gonna put a kink cabaret on before it, and I'm gonna put burlesque, boylesque, handstanding strippers. I'm gonna put Like that's
yes,
that's
yes.
yeah, because I don't rant on Facebook. You won't see me. I was like, if I'm gonna do my politics, I'm putting the political people on stage that you don't want to see, and I think so. I was like to Mark, was like, it is over 18s in the village, isn't it? And it's like, yeah, because we normally do the car park, which Gaydio is more or less doing it. So you're back at, yeah, which was really weird, because I was like, it's an institution, because that's when I was younger, it used to be like I'd cut through and that's the place you went. It was the Gaydio.
I was gutted when they stopped doing it, because I think I just started at Gaydio, and then I was like, right, well, I'm never going to get to play that. And then this year, I'm like, finally.
Yeah, well, the Gaydio car park, it's iconic. It's like, you've got the Rest of Pride, and it's like, if you want really good house music and to go to the party, it's like, that's where I always ended up, like
I'll slip you in the back window.
Yeah. So
when you're done with the main stage.
So we've got that. So it's all very exciting. We've got House of MCR, then we do the little kink gig, and then we kind of put that on a bigger scale up Pride, and then I'm going on holiday because I will need that 2 weeks in the sun. So yeah, we've got our stuff going on at Diecast and Firehouse, who I have to shout out, one of the first venues to give us our own night and censor it, and it popped off, and it's like everyone's looking. We get messages from like Newcastle. It's really funny when I get messages going, hi Darren, could you do a night like this? And they send me Firehouse on a Friday, and that's happened in Newcastle. It's happened from some promoters in Scotland, and it's actually our night, because it's like, because they don't read the website, they just see the visuals of the dance, and they go, oh my god, it happened for so it's really funny. So yeah, they also like, yeah, and Homo Block, and they gave us like one of the first massive platforms as well, and also Glitterbox and Defected, because it was very rare that we were all from the north, and they were ferrying us down left, right, and centre to do all their festivals. That helped with the kudos of it. So like Clubland, and it's all been our allies as well. That because a lot of them are straight promoters, which is really weird, because really weirdly enough, we didn't get a lot of work in the village, and we don't. And people are like, really, Girl Fabulous don't go? It's like, no, it's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So so our allies are really killing it in terms of supporting.
You can't afford you, love.
It's totally that.
It'll be that. You can barely afford me.
It is totally that now, because we are at a level where we're just like, and my dancers expected that they're going in there, was like, yeah, well, we didn't get food, and I was like, babes, it's a queer underground club. It's like, and we do that sliding scale as well. It's like, there's like, people reach out to me, and it was like, I'm a good barometer. Like, if there's a queer night and then we can lend our name to, it's like, I've done it before. I've been like, don't worry about the fee, pay us a nominal fee, pay us to get in, and we'll bring us and our dancers there, and you can use us for that, because this is a community that we come from, and I'm very, very philanthropic in the terms of like giving back and where the work should go to, and that's why I'm always like constantly promoting, can we have a black lesbian DJ, can we have this, can we have that, get them to raise the profile. And like, you had DJ Paulette on, and she's wrote a book about the struggles, and I'm telling you, that isn't like a manifestation of fantasy, it's a manifestation of reality, because I've seen it even trying to book female DJs and go in. I go into a venue and go, if it's not, I'm like, we need our DJs, and if they're going to be DJs, I've got a whole list of black people. This is Manchester. Yeah. We've got a whole list of them, and I'm constantly fighting that fight. For just representation and opportunities for people to do it. And then it's like, and what has that allowed us also is like, I hire a lot from the trans and non-binary community, because I'm like, if it's not, my thing is, if it's not black or queer, I'm jumping to the trans and the non-binary community, because it's like, any society is judged by the people that they help that are most in need. And in our queer community at the moment, the trans and the non-binary community are getting hammered like everywhere. I'm not like in the press, in our own communities and stuff. So it's like, and as I always say, it's how I do my politics of curating stuff. And I go into venues and I make up policies. Like, we're doing a brunch, and I was like, right, I'm making up a policy that 50% have to be POC.
Good.
And they were like, yeah, sure, Darren. And they just agreed, yeah. And I just go in and I was like, right, I'm going to go. And then if it's not this, we have to find trans and non-binary artists, because I understand that sometimes in commercial venues, you need representation in the audience. It works in certain places and it doesn't in others. But that's a continual fight that I'm fighting. But the venues, in Manchester, I have found have been really, really receptive and really good. And it was like the conversations that we had with Pride, and I think that's what I'm very good at, is conversations, because I never really call people out or attack people, because I think that's because I employ so many people. Like, I think last year was like over 50 or 60, this is just me, in my ex-council house in Fallowfield, like employing that many artists. So I have to be really careful how I conduct myself, because in a knock-on effect for the people that it means
paycheck for somebody else.
If I'm rude to somebody, or I think it's like, I think it's 15th of June, we've got like 14 dances over 4 cities. It's like that. That's a lot of mediation, and I have to conduct. And what I then in turn is I then try and tell my dancers to conduct themselves in a certain way and have certain etiquettes about them. And that's why, because people do shade us. It's like, oh, Ghetto fabulous, just everywhere you vote. It's like, we vote everywhere because we're good, bitch.
Yeah,
we're good. Yeah, we're good. My language. Because we're good and we're professional. We're not going, we have surpassed the point of tokenism, of like, oh, they're there just because they're there. No, we're there because we're good. We've had to work 10 times harder, and you do not get on these platforms. Yeah, we'll get booked once for being cute and black. Getting booked for 4 years, 5 years, people don't need to do that, because they can tick box and go, we've got our intersectionality tick now. So
this isn't like sort of when Vogue came out in the 90s and then there was the craze and then it all died off.
Breakdance happened and Vogue happened, and it's like, we've been going through it for 10 years, and it's like, and we do underground queer stuff, we do commercial stuff, and you don't last that long off tokenism, and there is a point where you have to be good.
And you're at that point.
Girl, that show House of Manchester, good. What those, I was talking to the fashion people, what those fashion people, I was like, Manchester, I don't think I'm ready. Let alone Manchester, if I'm not going to help us to handle some of the looks that are coming on this stage and what yous are creating. But that's Manchester, and that's is all I've done, is give people an opportunity and a platform, and they've gone, it's that level, so their mindset's gone that level.
Yeah. And quite right too. It's going to be South Warehouse, Aviva Studios, 20th to the 22nd of June. Get your tickets now. Factoryinternational.org. Can't wait. And from MCR to New York, Milan, Rio, the world.
Yes. We are where it's at.
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you.